Blue Hills Bank Pavilion opened as Harbor Lights Pavilion back in 1994. Located right on the Boston Harbor in the Fort Point Channel of the Seaport District, the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion is the perfect place to enjoy a night of music in this picturesque setting.
Tonight, Dirty Water TV's music series, presented by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, takes you inside the pavilion for a night of music with indie rock sensations Group Love and Portugal the Man.
We'll also introduce you to rising stars Joywave. Stand by and get ready to rock. The Dirty Water TV music series is next.
Love that Dirty Water TV.
This is Ken Casey.
I'm Huey Lewis.
This is Steven Tyler.
James Montgomery.
Hey, I'm Grace Potter.
I'm Darius Rucker.
I'm Susan Tedeschi, and I love that Dirty Water TV.
I love that Dirty Water TV.
Ow!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dirty Water TV music series. I'm Kevin Flight.
And I'm Erica Kilduff. We're coming to you live from the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion tonight for our final show of the season, Group Love and Portugal the Man.
Yeah, as you can tell from the attire, it's fall, it's a little cool out, but the music's keeping us plenty hot this evening.
As is the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Thank you so much to Jack Daniel's. But we also have other sponsors to thank.
Yeah, I mean, Crossroads and Live Nation, without whom none of this would ever be possible. They bring the music to you.
They do bring the music. Music and booze. What more could you ask for on a Sunday night?
Yeah, I know. This is definitely great. Hey, we have a huge show on tap for you tonight. A lot going on.
Tonight, we'll introduce you to rising indie rock sensation Joywave. I had a chance recently at the House of Blues to sit down with the band's lead singer, Daniel Armbruster.
Sarah Rodman will sit down with music managing mogul Mark Cates, founder of Fenway Recordings, who also reps Joywave.
And Sarah Rodman will be by with her music scene as she looks at some of the great acts coming to New England this fall. But first, I had a chance to sit down with Joywave frontman Daniel Armbruster as he talked about his gig for the Paradise with Betty Who.
Ooh, and that's tonight's big ticket, brought to you by Higgs Tickets.
So I want to know how it came to be this Betty Who business. How did you get to be support on that show?
We did a remix for her of her song "Somebody Loves You."
Somebody wants to hear you say, "Ooh, somebody loves you." Ooh, somebody loves you. Ooh, somebody loves you. Ooh, somebody loves you.
We actually met her at CMJ in New York at the Knitting Factory last October, and she was awesome, and we just kind of hit it off, and yeah, we did that remix for her, and yeah, we got offered the tour. We were like, yeah, let's hang out more.
Awesome. And the tour starts beginning of October.
Yes, yeah.
But you did some festivals this summer too.
We did.
Lollapalooza being one of them.
Yep.
What's the craziest thing you saw at Lollapalooza?
Joywave set was insane.
Collect my thoughts, I've come back to the land I lost with
It was awesome. It's like it was outside and really hot, and like outside is not my thing. So I did a lot of inside activities, and then went outside and played. And then we played Osheaga the next day, which was awesome. Like the weather in Montreal was great, and like one of the people from Top Chef or something does the catering for it, which was
even
amazing.
better.
Yeah, we just all went through the food line like 9 times. It was really great.
So you're headed out on the road in October.
Yes.
And how long is this tour?
We're gone for, they kind of like roll one into the next one, but we're going out with St. Lucia for a couple weeks, then we're out with Betty Who for like a full month, then we go to Europe after that, and we do some like, I think like London, Berlin, Paris,
Wow.
other cities that are in Europe.
Amazing. So for a band from Rochester, New York, you're seeing the world.
Yeah, right?
That's pretty cool.
Free vacation.
So when's the next Joywave? When do you go out on your own? When's your big tour by yourself?
Our record comes out at the beginning of next year, our full length, so probably like sometime after that.
Awesome. And you're just riding the wave from this one. It came out in March, right?
Yeah, yep. So this is an EP. It has 4 songs on it. And then the 4 songs on this EP are also on the full length. So it kind of like rolls one into the next.
And Tongues really took off on YouTube, so that's exciting. Tell me the story behind the video.
The directors are a couple guys named the Daniels who did the Lil Jon DJ Snake Turn Down for What video. So they had actually shot that the week before ours, and they were telling us about it. They're like, yeah, this guy like humps his way through a building. We're like, oh yeah, man, that sounds crazy. And then we saw that video, and we were like, oh my god, and it was like the viral sensation of the year. But they came up with the concept for our Tongues video, and we were like, that's crazy. We're gonna trust you guys that it'll be awesome, and they nailed it.
They're all just me. They're all just me. They're all just me. They're all just me.
Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate
Thanks for having me.
That's tonight's Big Ticket, brought to you by Higgs Tickets. Here's what else is going on around town.
Up next, Sarah Rodman sits down with Fenway recording honcho Mark Cates.
And later, Sarah Rodman has the 411 on the fall concert scene when Dirty Water TV returns.
I'm Mark Farner, and I love that Dirty Water TV.
Everyone, welcome back to the Dirty Water TV music series. I'm Kevin Flight.
And I'm Erica Kilduff. We're coming to you live from the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion tonight at Group Love in Portugal the Man.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can hear right behind us here. That is Group Love. They are just killing it right now, putting on an awesome set.
They are, but first we want to kick it over to Sarah, who's sitting over in VIP. I'm not sure if you can see her, Kevin, but she's over there. She sat down with Mark Cates, who runs Fenway Recordings. Sarah, what's going on?
Thanks, guys. I am here at the fabulous VIP lounge at the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion with the one and only talented, charming, attractive, and natty-hatted Mark Cates. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Sarah. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you,
You're looking
too.
well yourself.
Thank you so much. We are here because we are going to talk about Mark's exciting career, part of which involves the band that you just heard about, Joywave, who are playing at the Paradise with a band that I really love, Betty Who. That's a really nice up-and-coming bill for them to be on.
That's great, yeah. They're doing a whole tour with her, and she went to Berkeley, and so they did a remix for her, and they know her a little bit. We're just trying to get them going, and they have a song that's on the radio. This will be exciting, and it'll be the biggest show they've done here by far. Joywave were guys in Rochester that were just trying to conquer their small city, which they've done a pretty good job of, but also they really wanted to reach people. And they were really inventive. They made these mixtapes that they targeted a hype machine, and they covered other artists, not in like the YouTube really generic way that's happening these days, but a lot more creatively. And they managed to have 2 #1 mixtapes on Hype Machine, and the second one had a song called Tongues, which became one of the top 25 tracks of the year on Hype Machine, and that song got them signed to Hollywood Records, and now they're at radio. And yeah, I do love that part of the process, and I like it better when you have resources to draw on, because I've done
Hollywood it both ways.
Well,
Hollywood has an interesting, the thing that I always think of when I think of Hollywood is Grace Potter, who they've thrown all their weight behind her, and it's actually worked out very nicely for her.
And I think you're going to see their roster continue to evolve, because I know that they're working on some other stuff more in the direction of a band like Joywave.
I want to go way back to the beginning, back through the mists of time, back to the 80s. Remember the 80s? Remember the 80s? When you were a young man, just fresh out of school, and your favorite band was Mission of Burma, and you lucked into this gig working for Mission of Burma.
They were my favorite band. I thought they should be bigger. It took me a little while, but I got myself into this position to help them. And then very shortly after that, Roger's tinnitus kind of shut down their career.
So basically you broke up Mission of Burma. But then, many years later,
Exactly.
integral.
The most amazing, yeah.
Integral in getting them, well, not getting them back together, but in promoting their reunion.
They were thinking about it, so I got them together. I will take credit for saying, you have to do this, and you have to do this with me, because I knew so many people personally that would care about it.
Absolutely.
And little did I know how many people would actually care about it.
Well, they were so much bigger when they came back. But let's back up. So you get this great job. You go to Geffen and you get this job in A&R, and you're now signing back, and you're A&Ring records for Hole and for Nirvana. Like, what is that life like?
It's incredible, and it doesn't really exist anymore. And I'm very, very lucky to have had the experience I've had. The catalyst for that era at Geffen was really when we signed Sonic Youth, because when Nirvana decided they wanted to sign to a major label, there couldn't be anything more important to them than where Sonic Youth were if they were happy. And the minute we signed Sonic Youth, Kim Gordon said to me, the next band you should sign is Nirvana. I had a really incredible job. I was making records, helping really great artists make records with real resources. We were able to help cultivate a genre of music that took over rock radio and then in the process became really successful.
So would you actually say, it's interesting the things you said about Sonic Youth, that in some ways I think people point to Smells Like Teen Spirit as this big pivotal moment, which I won't take away from it, but I wonder if there was something before that.
It's a lot of things. The other biggest artist I had worked with prior to Nirvana was XTC, and we managed to get those artists played on pop radio, which is kind of amazing. And MTV was a huge factor in all of that, because they were really supportive of that genre for the most part. They should have played the Cool Thing video by Sonic Youth, but that's...
Well, they played it at 120 minutes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Our midnight to 2 a.m. ghetto. I mean, Teen Spirit was that moment because it had more impact. I think that the only song prior to that in alternative music that might have had anywhere near that level of impact, and it was all really after the fact, is How Soon Is Now by the Smiths, because that sort of was the genre-defining song, but it wasn't a hit in its time. I mean, it was a hit over time, I guess. Anyway, there was a pop side of his songwriting that clearly reached people. I think the rawness of that song and the lyrics and just the way a lot of kids felt at that time were drawn together at that one moment with that video.
So let's talk about MGMT and how you came to be their manager.
I had an employee at the time who was a scout at Columbia Records and was in the A&R meeting when they were brought up by another scout who didn't have anything new to play. So he thought he would play this EP that they had made when they were at Wesleyan, which was a couple years before that. As the legend goes, he played this record and basically the room flipped out. And they're like, you got to find these guys. Well, those guys had graduated from Wesleyan, gone kind of their separate ways, maybe weren't even going to make music together again. Yet on that EP, had written and recorded to date their two biggest songs, Kids and Time to Pretend, when they were freshmen or sophomores at Wesleyan. I always like to explain this because they actually had to decide to exist, let alone sign to a record label and then dive into this world, and I had to go meet them, and it's worked out well. It's been an unbelievable experience. As a band that continues to work hard and play all around the world, they had incredible festival shows, especially in Europe this year. They get a lot of credit for the climate that I referenced earlier of pop songs on alternative radio, and which I think they deserve. I mean, it's not what they set out to do.
Well, it sounds like they didn't set out to do anything.
Right, exactly. When you encounter people who actually aren't pushing you to push them, it's really refreshing, and you realize a little bit of balance goes a long way in this era of the music business.
But this is why you're getting into new bands, this is why you're signing Joywave, this is why you're still going out to see stuff, and this is why you're still excited about music, and that's why we're glad to have you. Thanks you so much for joining us, Mark.
You're very welcome.
Up next, Andy from Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey stops by with an interesting, hot new offering. That's when Dirty Water TV returns.
I'm Susan Tedeschi, and I love that Dirty Water TV.
Everyone, welcome back. Special treat for you. You see the bottles. We're going to introduce you to the man who is bringing us these bottles. His name's Andy DeFerris. He's the market manager here, bringing Jack Daniel's to you, Boston. And I got to say, I'm loving the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. I'm a little curious about what's next to us, but hey, tell us a little bit about these if anyone out there hasn't tried them yet.
Sure, thanks. I know you're a big fan, but Jack Honey is a flavored whiskey that came out about 3 years ago. It's actually the #1 selling honey whiskey in the world, outsells all other honey whiskeys combined, and it's actually soon becoming our second biggest brand at Brown-Forman. So Jack Daniel's, the black label, is the #1 whiskey in the world, over 11 million cases. And this brand that's only been out for a year actually just hit 1 million cases worldwide. So that says something for this brand. It's only been out for 3 years, and it's doing really well in Boston.
And I'm looking at our fire eater here. So this is something that I've never tried before. So I'm interested to learn a little bit more about this brand.
The first time for everything. We could crack this bottle. I mean, we don't have to do it on the air right now, but afterwards we could have a couple of shots for sure. Yeah, this basically taps into the cinnamon whiskey market that's going through the roof right now. This is a great option. Early Times is an old brand that we've sold for a long time, Brown-Forman Corporation. It's a Kentucky whiskey. It's been around forever, but this is a twist on it. It's a hot cinnamon flavor to it. It's a delicious delicious option.
Gents and ladies, behold the birth of this, the greatest shot on earth.
And I'm looking at your hat right now, so there may be a little bit more cinnamon whiskey news coming out, maybe for the Boston area.
I know you're trying to spill the beans right now, but I've been trying to keep it secret. Jack Fire, it's the Jack Daniel's version of cinnamon whiskey that's actually been out in 3 states over the summer: Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and Oregon, and it's absolutely killed it in those markets. And it's coming out in 5 new states come October 1st, and it should be in Massachusetts sometime. We're hoping early 2015. I'm excited for it. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey wasn't the first honey whiskey that came out, but it's easily #1, so we're hoping that we're going to have the same success with the Fire.
Jack Daniels and music, they really go together well. I know it's a part of the brand heritage. We've seen the Sinatra commercial. Just tell us a little bit about why that's important to the brand.
Yeah, Jack Daniels has always been big with music. Like you mentioned, Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was a huge supporter of the brand. Just organically, we never paid him for anything that he did with us. He was just a big fan of the brand. He drank Jack with 3 cubes of ice, and that was his drink.
That's the nectar of the gods, baby.
He even did some advertising with another whiskey company. You know, he actually had Jack Daniels in his glass, even though he was advertising with another company. Little did they know it was Jack Daniels in his glass. We did a big commercial with Frank Sinatra with Jack Daniels on the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, and that actually got a great reception with millennials and the younger generation, which we were really surprised about, because Frank Sinatra is obviously, you would think on the surface that he would speak to more of an older crowd, but we had a great reception with younger music fans.
It's like both have come full circle, music and Jack Daniels. So, and we love to be benefiting from this. So this is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
exactly. Here's a thought. Let's wrap up this interview, because I'm going to take you up on the offer to have some of this Fire Eater right here.
I thought you'd never ask. I thought you'd never ask.
All right, excellent. Thank you
All right.
so much.
Thank you.
Up next, Sarah Robin has the fall concert scene when Dirty Water TV returns. Welcome back to the Dirty Water TV music series. I'm Erica Kilduff.
And I'm Kevin Flight, brought to you by our good friends at Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, Live Nation Crossroads. I mean, the authorities on music in Boston.
Authorities on music, authorities on alcohol. I mean, it's kind of a big deal around here.
I know, but hey, when I'm thinking about authorities, there's none better than Sarah Rodman, and she is going to bring you what's happening this fall in the Boston music scene. Sarah, take it away.
Here in the fabulous VIP lounge at the Blue Hills Bank Pavilion, ready to tell you about some of the great shows that are coming up this fall. October is going to be a really terrific month. A lot of really classic artists coming to town, which is really exciting. First up, we have Brian Ferry, who is playing the Orpheum Theater on October 2nd. Brian Ferry, of course, the ultra-sexy crooner who used to be the lead singer of Roxy Music and then went on to have a really exciting, excellent solo career. He's done some interesting things in the past few years, including an entire Bob Dylan tribute album, which actually was quite delightful, and it's exciting to have him back in Boston. On October 10th and October 25th, Fleetwood Mac is back. They are playing the Garden 2 nights, separated by 2 weeks for some reason. And the exciting news about the Fleetwood Mac tour this time around is that after almost 15 years off the road, Christine McVie has rejoined the group. Apparently she is not afraid of touring anymore. And so you will be hearing all of those great Christine McVie songs if you check out Fleetwood Mac at the Garden on October 10th and 25th. On October 21st is a band I'm very, very excited that is coming back to town. I caught them at a really little club a few months back and they blew the roof off the place. They're coming back on October 21st to play the Paradise. This is St. Paul and the Broken Bones. This is a tremendous soul, R&B, garage, rock band out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Their lead singer, if you can believe it, looks like Drew Carey, but sings like Otis Redding. It's unbelievable. They're really good, and you should definitely check them out. Paradise, St. Paul and the Broken Bones, October 21st. Okay, where are my Pretenders fans at? You got brass in pocket? Well, the time has arrived. Chrissy Hynde is playing at the Orpheum Theater. She is not with the Pretenders this time. She is on her own, but I would imagine you can expect to hear some Pretender songs, as well as songs from her recent solo albums and her collaborations with other artists. So the Orpheum Theater, another great artist playing a little place. Where are my country fans at? You are going to be at the House of Blues on November the 8th to check out fantastic singer-songwriter David Nail. He's one of these folks in contemporary country that has just got an incredibly rich voice. He's got a really interesting story. And although he hasn't had a lot of big hits yet, he's definitely been bubbling under the charts, and he's somebody you should check out. Opening for him is a really sort of rough-hewn, happening guy named Frankie Ballard. Again, in the same boat. Great voice, good songs. Not a big star yet, but you definitely should check him out on the way up. Another humongous artist coming to town, Stevie Wonder, November 11th at the TD Garden. And the exciting thing about this tour for Stevie, and this is the tour that you want to see. He is coming and he is performing Songs in the Key of Life, his classic album, from front to back. And that's a big album, but that doesn't mean that Stevie won't have time to play a lot of his other great hit songs. So that's one you definitely want to check out. And to round it all out, perhaps the most veteran of the veterans that are coming to town this fall, Bob Dylan, is playing the Orpheum Theater on November 14th. Now, Bob has played the Garden, he's played the Centrum, he's played the Wang Center, he's played all over town, and this is a pretty intimate venue for him. So if you've never seen him, you definitely want to check him out. And that's all I have. I hope to see you guys out there rocking.
Hey, thanks, Sarah. Hey, it's that time right now. Not only are we wrapping up the show, but we're wrapping up another year of the Dirty Water TV music series. A little sad.
It is a little sad, but you know what? I think we had a lot of fun this year. Blue Hills Bank Pavilion shows, we were at the Bright Music Hall. A lot of stuff happened this year.
And of course, a lot of fun happens behind the scenes thanks to our good friends at Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. We may or may not enjoy a beverage every once in a while.
Every so often, thank you. We also enjoy a few shows every so often, so we want to thank Live Nation and Crossroads for providing that access to us as well.
Yeah, and again, everyone that was on the scene tonight, Andy from Jack Daniels and Fire Eater, thank you so much for joining us here.
The weekend may be over,
but the party never ends on Dirty Water TV. We'll catch y'all next time.